Hello.
Hello.
Hi, how's it going?
I am doing pretty good. Overwhelmed by all of my self-imposed tasks that are not necessary.
Hey,
Sounds like life for me.
sounds like adulthood.
No, it is it's an isekai I'm writing and fanfic I'm writing and
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
That'll do it.
when you haven't played Devil May Cry in over a year and a half and you haven't really thought about it in the same amount of time, and all of a sudden you have an idea going, I could write better characters. And all of a sudden you find yourself writing Devil May Cry fanfic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always a great time.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Dan.
Hello.
Welcome in.
Oh, wow.
Welcome. Thank you.
We are waiting on one more tonight, as unfortunately one of our cast members will be away, but for a wonderful reason. They're celebrating their anniversary with their partner.
Whoop, whoop.
Yay, love.
Yay, love.
Yay, love.
The only love in my life is D&D, so
Hell yeah.
Yay, love.
Yay, love.
Yay, love in all forms.
But wait, Connor's not playing love tonight.
Oh, rip. I mean, we can solve that. We just have to kill Cypress.
An alternate reality love. I see. Yes.
I mean, if you've ever talked to Connor about the overarching story of Love and Delta, it could happen.
I mean, I have Delta in my campaign, so.
If I say this with all the love in my heart for my brother, if you let him yap about his characters in his extended universe.
I freely know about that, but it's fun in the case of mine because it's just trapped in a cycle of life and death, which he loves.
It's the perfect scenario for Delta. It honestly makes the most sense for him.
Gotta love a roguelite.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to gloss over the fact that Connor's in a romantic relationship with himself?
I've made fun of him about it before.
Different characters.
Don't worry, we've covered this topic.
Gotta love it. And the best part is he's not here to defend himself.
I also
bring it
say
back
this
up.
again, with all the love in my heart for my brother. Would he, though?
No, he'd just go along with it and expand upon it, and
he yes ands it.
He's the perfect person to play this with.
Yeah. We were both theater majors at one time in our lives. We understand the concepts.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wasn't a theater major. I was I just did theater. So.
Well.
I was too afraid to do theater. I thought people would think funnily of me and everything else, and I had to be tough. Hooray, toxic masculinity.
Huzzah!
And repressed feelings and emotions my entire life. Yay!
Huzzah!
But I get to be who I am now.
Huzzah! We love it.
Yes, that's the way to be.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we do have Kirtan777 with us this evening in the chat. They play Nate in my Witcher campaign.
Ooh, welcome.
A School of the Cat Witcher.
Interesting.
Nice.
Okay. I am just a bit confused of what that means, but also very intrigued.
Uh, like the School of the Wolf, they have their own specializations. And the School of the Cat has a very distinct reputation for a disreputable nature.
It's just like literally all the sub. It's like a subclass. Yeah, just like the subclasses in D&D.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
I'm not
Do
the
they
most
always
familiar
play
with
that
Witcher,
too?
so. But awesome. I'll have to look into it more now.
Kiraton is playing Nate as one of the few from the School of the Cat that still has both honor as a Witcher and personal honor.
Hmm.
Interesting.
And he still has to deal with the entire reputation from the guild. All right, Connor. I gave you an extra 15 minutes to get here. Where are you?
Yeah, Connor.
Yeah.
He's probably fighting the cats off with his food.
As it happens.
As it happens. Currently, Bogo is trying to eat my taquitos.
Buy one, get one taquito.
Buy one, get one taquito. She's trying.
Taquito sounds really good.
Do you
right
want
now.
some?
I wish I could have one right now. We had the industrial sized Costco boxes of them in my fraternity house. And so they were the best that we would just grab a handful, just toss them into the microwave when we're drunk, and just heat them up.
Oh, okay. She has settled for lap time.
Aw. I'm also finally starting a Dark Urge campaign for BG3. I've been
nice.
avoiding it for this long.
Exciting.
Well, I mean, honestly, I'd probably wait like another week because the new patch is about to be out and it's going to add more dirge things.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna start again and again and again, like I always do. I just create every single one of my D&D characters in Baldur's Gate. I have modded the hell out of it now, so I have whole sorts of crazy stuff going on now, and I love it.
Yeah.
What's your favorite mod?
Ooh,
X-Blade Warlock.
No,
Yes.
I haven't used that one yet. I have to download that one. Right now I'm playing around with the 5e spells, combined with the unlocked level curve, which is basically brings it up to level 20, but also they made the level curve so that it's balanced throughout the campaign. So
Nice.
it's interesting. It's very interesting. The other favorite I can't really say here on stream.
Oh no. That's a private chat only.
That's a private chat.
Hey, Connor.
Only. Yeah.
Hi, Connor.
Hello.
Oh, bye, Dan.
Hey.
Hi, Dan.
I'll be back. Connor, just so we're not talking behind your back, we were mentioning earlier about the relationship between Love and Delta and how you seem to be in a romantic relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
I was talking
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah. Well, good. I would hope so. Hi, Bogo's tail. Yeah. No, it's yes, the romantic relationship. If we have a hot second, just so I can go on record, I made the character of Delta first for a private game that I play with some of my homies, and we've been playing for a bit. and I made the character of Love. And then when my sibling was like, "Hey, I'm doing a game," I was like, "Oh, I'd love to play as this fictional girlfriend that I've made for myself." And we never spoke of how weird that was. And it wasn't
I
until
did.
about episode
spoke
3
about it.
that I was like, you know what? This is a little weird, but yeah, not
Wait a
I'm
second.
very. I was too like wrapped up in the idea of like, yeah, I get to bring like an NPC of mine as an actual playable character. I think that's great. And now I have complicated feelings about them and myself.
I have a serious question.
Yeah,
Does this mean if somebody tells you to go fuck yourself, it's a positive thing now?
honestly, I have in my job, I have been told to go fuck myself, and my defense technique in that exact moment was like, "Funny you should mention that." But I have 2 fictional characters that I actively play for a podcast, and they are both in love with each other. So how
I can
about
just
you
imagine.
get the fuck
I
out?
can just imagine you trespassing some assholes at the water park, and them telling you to go fuck yourself, and then you just being like, "Well, actually,"
Yeah,
and then
no,
just
it was a
info
definite.
dumping and making it all worse for their day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, nothing diffuses like the anger of like a person looking like me. I don't know. I guess, they're thinking it's going to be an actual fight, and it's like, really, I'm just a big nerd, and you've unlocked my hyperfixation, you fool.
You need someone to get that on camera next time, please.
There may or may not be camera footage of me asking people to leave my place of employment, but that's
Connor
a
has
different
fanboys at his job.
discussion.
Are y'all saying you guys don't practice self-love through your characters?
There's layers and layers of that joke. Layers and layers.
You don't know my Baldur's Gate 3 mod history or what my Google
no.
Drive looks like.
I don't
Dan.
want to.
Oh no. Oh no.
Yeah. I always romance Shadowheart. Goth mommies all the way.
Oh, Connor has Baldur's Gate 3 now, so Connor can discuss Baldur's Gate now.
Hell yeah.
Well, that being
All the
said,
way.
does this mean that we are going to do a stream of a party play?
Ooh,
I'll do it.
That could be fun. Yeah, hell yeah.
That could
I'm
be fun.
down.
I don't know what that entails yet, as I have yet to even start the game, but I'm looking forward to it.
We'll just boot it up with the 4 of us, and then we'll just go to places and say, "Hey Connor, go do this. Hey Connor, go talk to
There
that
you
person,"
go.
and just see the reactions.
Perfect.
Hey, you should open this barn door.
I have maintained relatively spoiler-free for like side quests and stuff. I have heard reference to a barn door, but I don't know what's in there.
Good.
Hey, go to the cave!
The only side quest NPC that I know about that I already have an emotional attachment to is the flying cat, and I don't know anything else, other details about the flying cat.
Oh,
I just know that there is a flying cat that apparently talks
Oh.
or something.
You fucked
So-
up.
I sure did.
That creature is called a Tressum.
Oh
I
yeah,
love prisms.
poor little baby.
But with all of us here, I'm going to run our intro again and get us started.
Yay!
You have just defeated the non-combatant guild. You run back to Kale's place, grab your belongings, you stop at Juniper's, you send off a quick message, or slow message, as it were, as you make your way out of town. It was the early afternoon when you left, fleeing through the day, and most of the night, you finally decide to rest, making sure that you are far away from any would-be pursuers. And as you are in camp, what's on your mind?
I'm gonna start this one. Cypress has decided to set up watch, and is sitting down on a rock or a stump, whatever's most convenient, looking out towards the road. Like normal, he has his formula book open in his lap, and he has his machete out and is running a whetstone over it. As he's using the whetstone, he then absentmindedly will cast Shape Water and pull some water up and out and then onto the whetstone, and is kind of multitasking with a cantrip and a melee weapon and his formula book, and is not speaking, not talking. So you just hear the rhythmic sounds, flipping the blade over, doing the other side, getting lost into this repetition, before sliding it back in its sheath on his back, taking out the bow that he never uses, and going over the wood grain and the string, and is silently waiting and going through his equipment.
Okay. Who's next? I'll start calling on people.
For Drolor, he is probably at this moment by the fire, going through probably reading his spell book, just looking at things, trying to basically keep things fresh in his mind with his training and such, while also just reflecting on the past few days and how things are so different than what he remembers from time before. And it's interesting. His mind is basically blocking everything and everyone else out. All he can really hear is the crackle of the fire as he's going through his book. He's kind of in his own mind tracing the sigils, or seeing his movements in his mind as he's going through everything, and just trying to keep up on stuff. At this moment, at least that's what he's up to.
I think Norm is like, okay, I guess everyone didn't think too much about my me telling them about that I'm a plasmoid, as I'm walking to go grab some food and just go back to my tent and just think about what I'm going to start tinkering with tonight.
Clearly, I was not there at the last session. I didn't realize you revealed that.
Oh, yeah. That was the last thing I said when I turned into a slime.
But
in front
I
of
don't.
everybody.
I with what Drolor has seen at this point, I don't think it really phases him.
That's what I figured. I was like, you know what? Everyone should be fine. As I'm like walking, I'm not in my suit form as much. I'm just like a slender, metallic, almost soft kind of skin, but still humanoid, just walking around. And it's like kind of a red little hum of light where his eyes usually are that like go through his helmet as he's just walking over trying to find some berries and stuff to bring back to his tent. Smallman is still the exact same as he usually is.
A good boy.
A good boy.
A good boy. Penny is gonna be foraging in the forest for some licorice root to bring back for everybody as a little post-trauma treat.
Please make a survival check.
Hell yeah! Watch me fuck it up.
Hell
Survival.
yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, 21 on die? 21?
And you do manage to find some wild licorice.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah. Mountain Man Penny. I think Penny's gonna try and like take as much as possible. And Penny is no longer carrying around the, let me check my notes, 15,000 coins from the heist, and is now just carrying armfuls of licorice root back into camp to give to their friends.
You said 15,000 gold?
Yeah, I wrote down 15k coins and I circled it twice.
Yeah. Plus what Davin had, plus what Drolor had, plus what Cypress had,
Right
and what
there.
Norm had.
Yeah.
I have it still in my body. I just haven't shut it. I haven't dumped it out yet. Once I get to my tent, I'm gonna puke it all out into a
Gross.
bag.
As you sit here, Davin has been the quietest. As he tries to speak. So, well, I'm glad that everyone else feels as bad as me.
Wait, what are we supposed to be feeling bad? Davin, do you feel bad?
Yeah,
About the problems we fixed?
the problem I created.
Oh, that's fine, because it led to you being able to us being able to fix a problem. So it's not really a problem. It was just a. You're answering the question before the question was asked.
Plus, they were going to manufacture weapons anyway.
Hey,
Yeah, they were. They were going to do it for the Empire. And we stopped them from being able to do that.
mm-hmm.
Those weren't soldiers or combatants. That's
But
why I
they're-
feel
But they could have been.
And regardless, even though they're not the ones that pulled the dagger, they still have blood on their hands.
Penny's gonna hand Davin a licorice root and pat him on the shoulder, and then walk over and give Cypress one, and then Drolor, and then Norm.
I can't hold them any more accountable for what they're doing than I could any farmer.
Well, that's the thing. You're not going to use, while yes, the food that a farmer makes is nutritious to just about anyone in general, they're more or less going to do the same thing regardless. However, a weapons manufacturer is going to make it an additional surplus to fuel the armaments of an army.
When Idris was attacked, how many breathing soldiers did they have?
I mean, we've already kind of met some of the breathing soldiers afterwards. It was really mostly the robotic ones that were.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Most of the breathing ones weren't okay with this.
Right.
Or at least we found several who weren't.
I feel like it's kind of a one of those things where they don't know what they signed up for, but these people being in a place that obviously have some refugees and people that have seen the atrocities made by this war and still signed up to make weapons, it's kind of something that they signed for themselves. They felt like they're going to hide in this little town and be guiltless of the blood that's on their hands. No.
Can't think they're completely blameless, but at the same time, if we only manage to take out just their summoners or whatever that were creating or pulling those monstrosities, how many would have still been able to fight? By your logic, Norm, if we just kill all the farmers, burn all the land, then none of their people can survive. And then by that, they don't have an army left. I just don't think that every means is a justified end.
True, but the statistical probabilities that this is going to affect them more than taking out farmers, which have a little bit more of a not randomness to it, but this is going to do more damage. But if you want to hit some farms, I have also circled several of them on these maps.
I don't think
No.
that's what Devin wants.
I know. I'm trying to make a point.
Ah,
I agree that if we looked at this purely analytically, then you would be right, Norm. But there is something else. And for her lack of a term that is inclusive to elves, dwarves, slimes, Harengon, giants, the human factor. We have to make sure we don't become our own worst enemies.
Devin, I've already kind of come to terms with that for myself quite a few years ago. I understand your point. Good sentiment, but if I can backtrack for just a moment, the soldiers who turned themselves in after what happened, they weren't all that innocent themselves. When we got to the palace, I and I snuck away from the group right before dinner. I went to go and see them in their prison cells, and they weren't that great.
I believe you. 100%. but I'm a smith too. I'm just trying to do my job. I want to take care of a family, take care of my neighbors if possible. But fate turned circumstances, and now I carry a sword as well as a hammer. And as much as it was necessary, I'm grateful for this pain. I don't want to become our enemy with a disregard for every life that we come across. I hope that makes sense.
It does. I don't know how much of an argument I want to make against it tonight.
Cypress, who has not spoken since camp was made, still chewing on the licorice root, gets up and heads over to his tent, and goes inside and goes to sleep. Well, goes inside, allegedly, theoretically, to go to sleep.
I go into my tent and I spit out the licorice root, and then I spit out all my gold into the chest that I have.
I just love the image of this, what would be a slender, bipedal, metallic slime. But then you can see this big old pot belly of 15,000 gold just beneath the surface being held in.
I think he's managed to keep it like still like up in his chest like he would usually look. I feel like he looks a lot like Zack from League of Legends. Just big, almost like Oogie Boogie, but if the belly was up more. And yeah, he just gets into the tent and he tries not to spit out the licorice. He spits out the licorice and then he just pours all the money out. Then he's like, okay, that looks like it was all of it. And
Oh my god.
closes the chest.
Norm, you have a question. Do the coins have a flavor now?
No, they don't. It's all purely, I mean, nothing that, since it's like metallic, I almost imagine it's like mercury almost, in a sense of like everything. Feel like it stays. It's since it's metallic, the gold doesn't move or jostle or do anything like that. Just because it's like super tough to like move through. He's only able to move it around and constrict, and that's why he's able to change into the different forms he can, and it feels like so solid. But I think in that sense of you would not know unless he wanted to have like a piece of anything on there. So there's like no residue or anything like that. Plus, it's non-organic, so he doesn't like digest it or anything like that, like wood or other things. But I'm sure if he was another kind of or not plasmoid, if he was another type of ooze, I'm sure it would leave residue and stuff like that.
Oh, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. I'll take watch.
Okay. Norm. Just, he, in his still slime, or in his, not slime, it is more not having to be in an armor mode, he just sleeps very comfortably.
Drolar, I'm not feeling particularly tired. Do you want to head to bed too? And one of us will wake you when it's time for your watch.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good night. Sweet dreams.
Have a hopefully a quiet watch.
Penny's gonna stay up with Davin for a little bit.
The air is chill. Of course, there's campfires to get as close. You can get as close to it as you want. Other than that, there is the sound of crickets, a few hoots from owls, scampering of vole and vermin. The night is quiet, and the night is natural.
Davin, you can speak your mind.
I regret that I had to do what we did. And I'm glad that I have regrets.
Was that the first time you had to kill someone? Or had to be witness to it in such a manner?
We've fought several monsters and things in training,
I know.
but yeah, it was my first time killing a person, and it was my first time killing a person who was just doing their job.
It's your first time where it wasn't a monster. There was no way for you to justify that it could have been in any way a monstrous act.
Well, I certainly know the danger if they were able to continue the production of Mythril.
I am worried about you, Davin. Only in the fact that I think that you might be the best one out of all of us. Because of how you're feeling right now. Those people weren't you. They weren't your father. They weren't your family. They may have been same profession, same guild, same whatever. But they weren't you. And you can hold on to how you're feeling. There's nothing wrong with that. But we all have to put one foot in front of the other. Past our horrific and vicious deeds.
I don't know if I would feel this way, even if it was another person, if it was an enemy soldier standing in front of me. But whatever part of the war machine that they weren't carrying weapons. They weren't leveled at us, and they weren't trying to kill us at the same time. So I I feel comfortable with the fact that I'm uncomfortable.
And that's good. And I'm happy you do.
I don't I really don't think I'm going to sleep tonight. I kind of want to feel this. I don't want it to fade just yet.
It's the unfortunate part of us that makes us human, despite what our half-blood is. I understand. I had the same the same feeling. That's why I'm not leaving your side tonight, Davin. Not until you fall asleep. And you eat that damn licorice root that I went through a lot of trouble to find for you.
As Tavin tenuously grabs this, brushes it off for like the fifth time, and starts to nibble the end of it, and with a grimace just smiles against the bitterness.
Oh no, I know it's bad. I know it's terrible. Would have been worse if I could find some cinnamon bark. Oh, the way that I would have just fucking dried that and then crushed it up and made a powder of it and then put it in a spoon and just given you the whole spoon. Oh, oh, you would have been sorry. Back in my
Actually,
village, the children used to see how long they could hold the cinnamon in their mouths after on those iron spoons that you can get from the smith. Oh, oh, they were coughing. Oh, kept up the grandmas for hours with all the wheezing that they did.
I've uh, I've never done anything like that. Being silly for the sake of it. There was always work to do.
We should change that.
Working a forge is different. You can't
Aye,
be
but
silly.
you're
You
not
can't.
working a forge.
I am right now. In my head, I have a problem in front of me. I know the course, I know the result. Every step we take, I find an imperfection, I find a flaw, and I have to work through it. There's a process for everything, for every mistake. No matter what happens, there's always a way to fix it. You may have to sacrifice a bit of it, cut something out, work it back in, more layers, anything. But there's always a way to fix it. You may have to start from scratch again. But everything is fixable, which is why I see everything, the long venture ahead of us. And I believe that we can set it right.
Will do good for this world. Doesn't have to be perfect. I know the whole thing about uh, forging and creating weapons and whatnot is that if it's not perfect, then it falls apart and blah, 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 blah. It doesn't have to be perfect. It simply has to be sometimes.
Long
Now, what
before
I think we should do, no, now what I think we should do is I think we should create a mandatory fun in our little troop, our little band of bandits. Doesn't have to be every day, because then that could get very tiresome. We'd run out of ideas fast. But I think we should do fun things frequently so that we could break this stubborn horseshite that you have and that Drolor sometimes has and Cyprus definitely has. Sweet Roll is a agent of chaos no matter what they choose to do with their life. So Sweet Roll can be a co-conspirator, co-captain of this marvelous little feat.
Sweet roll.
Oh no. I've called them Sweet Roll since I met them because they stole a bunch of sweet rolls and was trying to give them to the horses at the fair. And it stuck out to me. Sweet roll. They probably
I
paid for those desserts. Cannot remember.
yeah, I honestly, I've glossed over that entirely.
Mm? Because you have to learn how to hold on to the fun.
Fun back home was different.
Well, now you're with me, who grew up in a commune in the middle of the forest with a bunch of dead dragons, 100 feet away from where I laid my head at night, and Norm, who has kept this secret from us for 3 years now, and Cypress, who's a rabbit who is a doctor, and Drolor, who is quite literally the largest, sweetest man I have ever met in my entire life.
back home, fun, we would go fishing.
That's so boring. That's so boring. I bet you had a wee little fishing hat too, and you sat on the wee little pier or in a wee little dinghy with your wee little fishing pole, and you tried to catch fish.
No, I sat on the bank, and I did catch fish.
Even worse. With your wee little fishing hat.
No hat.
Mm.
Shade of the
The
tree
fishing hat.
above me.
Oh, that's even more boring. Next time we find a creek of fish, I'm gonna teach you how to fish with your hands.
Can't really do that back home.
Well, now you get the luxury of doing it now.
No, you'd freeze to death in the river back home.
Oh, it sounds more fun than just sitting on a wee bank with your wee little fishing hat and your wee little fishing pole.
There was no hat.
I am choosing to create my own narrative and say that there was a wee little fishing hat.
Okay.
Now go lay in your tent. Go stew in your little, I'm working the forge in me head, in your tent and eat your licorice root and just try and relax.
I will.
Good.
As Stroller does not head to his tent, he picks up his cloak, wraps it about him, and steps out of the camp, out of the firelight, keeping watch.
That's not where your tent is. I've got first watch.
And you're giving away our position.
Fucking no fun Nancy over there.
How long do you stay up, Penny?
How long does fucking Davin stay in the woods like a little creepy boy?
You guys are in the hills. He's walked away, found a vantage point to look over the camp and all of you.
I'll take
And
that
he
point of
comes back.
exhaustion.
And Davin sits here and doesn't come back to camp till sunrise.
Penny sees Davin trudge down from his little vantage point, just flips him off.
As everyone is awake in the morning, a little late waking up. The sun has already been up for about an hour before everybody's ready to go. It was a late night. Morning, everyone.
Good morning. You seem a bit worn this morning.
I kept watch.
I wondered why I was still sleeping. I mean, thank you. You didn't have to.
It's okay. I needed to be awake with my thoughts last night.
Well,
It's okay.
as long as you're okay with it, we'll just make sure that we have our eyes out and about to help you out. You kept watching us all night, and we're gonna keep watch on you today.
Well, sometime tonight, I am going to crash. So
Oh, I'm sure.
between now and then, we still have 12 days before we have to meet our rendezvous.
Yep. Yes, we do.
So what do we do for 12 days then? Considering what we did, if they are on our trail, we shouldn't camp in the same place twice. You could have gone to sleep, Penny.
Davin, while you were up working the forge in your mind for all those hours, I was thinking about different ways to make wee little fishing hats for everybody so that we could partake in wee little fishing tournaments when we find a creek. And very important things to do last night.
You know what? That sounds nice.
Penny produces a little shittily made paper sailor's hat for small men.
And I made a handbag, and he pulls a little pouch,
Norm, do you sleep?
just like
Did-
everybody, with all their eyes closed.
How many eyes do you have, Norm?
That seems like a personal question. And then just walks off.
Cypress is standing there with breakfast and just. Here's breakfast. There you go.
Thank you, Cypress. Here's a licorice root. And a cool looking mushroom I found.
Cypress snacks on both, one after the other.
I don't think
First.
the mushroom will kill you.
Penny, first roll a survival check on your mushroom.
Oh, it's even better!
That means Cypress dies instantly, right?
As opposed
Cypress.
to shitting his brains out.
As you finish eating this mushroom, you grow 1 inch.
Like vertically?
Yeah.
Can I, Erica, can I retcon you just a little bit?
Oh no.
Okay.
Can my ears grow 1 inch?
Your overall height grows 1 inch.
There we
How
go.
it happens is you.
Okay, awesome. Cypress does not notice. Not yet. We'll get there. Don't you worry. That's amazing news. That's fantastic. I'm putting that in the journal.
As Davin sits here, gets the bowl of breakfast provided by Cypress. He shaves up some of the licorice root, mixes it in, and just eats the breakfast.
I eat the whole bowl.
Like, including the bowl.
Yes.
Wait. Question. Does Norm dump out the breakfast and then just eat the bowl?
No, I just eat the whole bowl
Okay.
with the breakfast in it. He's finally like, yeah. So I usually prefer wood sides with my food because it helps break down some of the stuff as well, my digestive tract, which is all of me for the most part.
I am not ready to get into the full anatomy of a slime. Um, one thing at a time, and that would be very interesting. But that seems a lot during breakfast.
It's not actually that much. It's kind of like imagining a caterpillar whenever it turns into a butterfly. I don't think I'm going to turn into a butterfly though.
Not with that attitude.
I mean, if anything, it would be more of an angel of death as he pulls out his guns that come out of his hands. In that way, I guess that's better than a butterfly.
Cypress had just made a spoon out of shape water and felt super proud of it. Of going like, oh, got it perfect, little bowl right in there, totally great, and then sees that and just snaps the fucking ice spoon.
Yeah. Immediately, like very much Terminator, just like because whenever he's changing his form, it definitely has more of a sheen to it before it solidifies. So his guns come out and he like almost like makes like fake wings come out, but of course they wouldn't be able to fly or anything. He just makes the limbs almost look like it, and then he just brings them back in.
Cypress storms off, trying to like will himself to fly a little bit, just like, I'm gonna get off this ground. I'm gonna get off this ground just right now. I'm gonna do it. And just stomps over to the tent and starts packing his stuff up.
Norm does not have his he takes down the tent and there's no chest anymore as he's just like putting everything else in like a little bag or whatever and making sure he has his little tiny little handbag that he's made himself that just has a almost like a little smile. He's embroidered it a little bit and it looks like it's just like a little face bag.
Oh, I meant to say thank you all.
No problem.
Some problems.
Not that we couldn't solve. And the more we sleep, the further the problems will be.
You guys had strength that I didn't. Thank you. That being said, we should move camp. They do have scouts, and I've also saw goblins moving about in the night.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, it's terrifying. Yes, the people of Adelaide often said that there was mind goblins around this forest.
Are the mind goblins anything like the Sugandis?
So I've heard.
I'm gonna hold my action for a more suitable time to make a joke.
You know what? Hold
Is your
on.
action to summon a dragon?
No, I have a worse one.
20 mind goblins jump out of the woods.
Oh my. A 4 charisma save.
Oh no.
Rutrow.
It would be the 14. He doesn't have disadvantage on saving throws.
Okay.
As Davin is about to ask, oh,
Oh. See, it would have been funnier if you had actually asked it, Devin.
Asked
We'll
what?
get there. What?
Asked what?
I think why Cypress was gonna hold his action.
Oh.
You hear Cypress muttering random words like allayed and allied and trying to like square the circle on a joke, and is just like spiraling in this like breaking down tent spiral of just completely distracted, thinking about, I'm gonna come up with a great one that'll show him, be like the come up goblins or something. I don't know. I'll find something. Just throws everything into a bag. It's like, okay, all right, I have a thing to say about what happened. Okay, I have a thing, and I'm sorry I didn't say anything last night, and I'm sorry that it's coming out right now. I know we're trying to move past it, and I appreciate that. And Cypress will point one finger over at Davin and goes, you did everything that you could. You did the right thing with the information you had at the time, and then you did the second right thing by telling us what happened. Okay? You should not feel bad for that. You should feel bad for what happened, but not for the part you played in it. You, pointing over at Davin, or at Drolor, goes, you, perfect. Never change. You, pointing over, giant thumb, pointing over at Norm.
Troll or best boy.
I'm okay with that. Also, I don't know what actually happened last session, so I am fine completely fine. But I'm okay with that.
You just pick up on context clues. You're doing great.
Rick is
Troll
having
went in a
fun just figuring out what the hell just happened.
Cypress points over at Norm and goes, you and I are going to have some problems, okay? You did something horrendous, and I need to know how you summoned all that acid. That's supposed to be my thing, okay? And you just did it out of nowhere. Just
What is the weather going to be like today? As he's casting
Druidcraft?
Druidcraft.
I'm going to come back to you. And you, finally pointing over at Penny. We did what we had to do.
Yeah, we did.
Just like always.
That's what
And the thing...
Norm.
Mm-hmm.
Partly cloudy with light afternoon showers.
Okay. What were you saying, Cypress? I was looking at the weather. It's going to be partly cloudy today.
Walking.
Were you
Walking.
wondering how I shot all that acid?
I sent a report ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I went into Juniper's, and I sent out a coded missive saying something about what happened.
Okay.
Okay.
What code did you use? What did you say?
I'm not going to say it out loud.
But what were you asking about to me about the acid?
How did you do the acid?
What do you mean? I did that earlier too.
Yeah,
Remember?
but I didn't see it that time because I was way over there trying to get a flanking position.
I was up in the trees and I shot at them. That guy was invisible, but he had acid all over him.
Yeah, no, I saw. I was running through the brush as I am wont to do, and as I book it through the brush, and I see him, or I see over there's nothing, and I round a tree, and all of a sudden there's just a person-shaped clump of acid. Yeah, so look.
It's a caustic spew.
Okay, I used my own caustic spew
Gross.
Mm-hmm.
to be able to take out the notebooks and the information. Okay,
Right.
so not only were the witnesses taken care of by you two, the records are also taken care of. Okay.
Perfect.
I sent a note to get ahead of any kind of theoretical problem or word that might come back to our employers, detailing about the imperial hit on the local guild, and that we are currently looking for the perpetrators. So, we're all on the same page. Information was destroyed. Information was sent out ahead of us to our superiors. I'm feeling fine. I'm just fine right now, okay? And I think what we should do is we should spend some time moving around, getting lay of the land, checking on some resources, and trying to figure out where and how we can then make a line back over to our contact when it is time.
That sounds good.
Okay. All right. And Cypress will finish packing everything up. Point one more time at Penny, and that's it. And yeah, it just goes back and forth, back and forth. And Cypress very visually seems much more at ease now. Just okay. Got to have a little hissy fit. Got to have a little talk. I'm fine. Fine. I'm fine. It goes back to
Would
packing.
you say that you're fine?
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Yeah, fine.
Since Devin didn't really unpack yesterday, all he has to do is roll up his tent once it's on his backpack. Okay. Are y'all ready?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's get going. We'll need to keep our feet on the rocks as much as possible. Leave as little of a trail as possible. As you guys get ready to move around throughout the hills and wilderness around the city of Midport, somebody roll me a survival check with advantage. Davin has a +6.
It should not be Cypress.
I have a +5. But I'm so scared to roll another survival check.
I only have a +2, so unless you want me to do it.
Davin is at disadvantage on his checks right now, so that'd just be a straight roll.
Oh yeah, you also have.
Oh god.
Go for the hat trick.
Survival?
Do the third.
No, I just have a +2 to it.
Fuck it, I'll do it. Fuck it, we ball.
Fuck it, we ball!
Fuck it, we ball. 16 with guidance.
Okay. Do you take Davin's advice of trying to use the rocks as much as possible?
Yes.
So, using the rocks, your progress is slowed because you keep having to stop and make sure you can either like almost pole vault or onto the next rock, or can you get like whatever like kind of leap to get over there. But the slowed speed, you leave no trace behind you. From the moment this fire pit's covered up and the bit of dirt that hits the first rock, after that, there's no trail. So you guys do have that advantage, and you slowly kind of lead your chocobos the same, just staying. Sorry, Axe speaks.
Nope, you said it. You said it.
Nondescript, large avian mounts.
There we go. Of varying color, depending on how your eyeballs process color.
Or based on what magical traits they may have.
Uh-huh.
Clearly not trademarked in any way.
No, not even.
Definitely not stealing from a specific IP.
I have a question. Given that with the last level up, I took a certain ritual spell, do I still have mine, or do I have my, as I'm going to call it, a phantom axe speak? So I have phantom steed.
If you added Phantom Steed to your library,
yeah,
you still have your physical one, but you can now summon one whenever you need one.
Perfect.
That
Okay.
roller had a big horse.
I think I did at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I had a
Whatever
big horse
steed.
too.
Yeah, you both had Clydesdales.
Yeah. Okay.
Clearly, they cannot be referenced with an alcoholic beverage company from 1990s and early 2000s commercials.
One that invokes feelings of friends being perhaps wizened with age, mayhaps.
Yeah. I don't see that in any of the people who drink those particular beverages, but
Yeah, I know.
if you want to be portrayed as wizened, then you're probably drinking bourbon or scotch from no particular state or country. But your progress is slowed. You go across the rocks, leaving no trail. Throughout the day, you do manage to hunker down several times as you notice one goblin. And then at another point, two goblins. At a third point, another soul goblin.
Any of them with big craniums?
No, they're all standard craniums. These are not the aforementioned mind goblins.
The psionic subspecies of goblin.
Yeah, it was not those. They could not detect your presence.
So are we going to side quest and murder goblins, or are we just going to keep stealthing for 12 days?
What the fuck, Penny? Killing goblins? They're sentient beings. They're just natives of this lands.
You're right. I'm so sorry because my morals are so fucking whatever to not think of goblins as living creatures. Of course, you're right.
Both of you just see the most vibrantly glowing green side eye. Just the fuck? The fuck now? And just shake a head and keep on riding.
I mean, unless we find out that these goblins are also supporting genocide, I don't think we're going to have any reason to kill these goblins.
We could go ask them. I don't see how that could go wrong.
I'm not going to get close enough for the telepathic range of a mind goblin.
Petty pulls out Smooch's.
Smooches sounds real different now.
Smooches ate quite a few more squirrels than the last time. Smooches, do you want to go on some reconnaissance?
Okay, Mama.
Smooches, I choose you.
As
There's a Smooches.
Smooches takes to the air. And you hear in your mind, what am I looking for?
You're looking for goblins and or a goblin camp and or any sign of sentience amongst those goblins.
I mean, that's a pretty broad parameter, sentience-wise. If they're organized, they're sentient.
Have they created an organized religion? Have they made camp? Have they created a government for themselves? Have they created an economy for themselves?
Well, if they're headed by the mind goblins, then yes. All of those would be true.
Norm, what are you doing inside me mind talking to my son? How did you get in here?
I thought we were doing the telepathic link again.
You know what, Norm? You can come into this. You can be present.
I'll drop out of the call.
No, please stay on. It's fine.
I see a smoke.
Okay. How far away is the smoke?
About 3 days, how fast y'all are walking.
Okay.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Okay. Does it look like the goblins have learned how to use spices?
I can see the smoke. I can't even see the fire from here.
Okay.
And
We'll
this smoke has risen up in the air.
We'll put a pin in the spices for now. All right, lads. Smooches says there's smoke, presumably from goblins, at about 3 days away from us.
Did anyone hear anything about problems with goblins while we were in Midport or around in the surrounding area?
No.
Oh.
Make a general history check, everybody.
It's mind goblin country. I knew that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So everyone except Davin knows that goblins are quite common um, all throughout this portion of the continent. Um, Anywhere that is off the road, away from other civilizations, they live in the wilderness. Whether in the plains, the hills, the forests. Um, and with that, Cypress and Penny, you both also have that goblins are generally live in small camps, no more than 50 in a camp. Um, Nearly half those numbers would be young, uh, premature. So it's not uncommon for them to be out and about.
I say we avoid them.
Agree.
And if they're not being a menace or a problem to the city in the same way that the Empire is, then I say we just leave them alone and hope that they do the same for us.
Generally, goblins are only a problem when they run into numbers less than their own. If there's any chance a target could fight back, goblins will leave them be.
What if we organize them?
Like, get them on our side?
Yeah. It's a
Yes.
risk, but it's an option.
It could be interesting. At the very least.
I could make myself look like a goblin.
How?
But I can only do it for an hour at a time.
All right. Well, do we want to take some time to investigate the goblins and see if we can get them on our side? Or do we want to continue with our wilderness trek for the next few days?
You know me, I wouldn't necessarily turn down some assets and resources to have. Does anyone is Goblin its own language around these parts? Okay. Does anyone Does anyone speak Goblin? Because I do not.
I also do not.
No, I only know Common, Elven, Celestial, and Abyssal.
Cypress forgets and says, "Oh, really? That's interesting." In Infernal, and then goes, "No, wait, wrong dialect." Sorry.
Penny also in Infernal goes, "No, Cypress, you're using the wrong one. It's the other one. It's the opposite direction on the pole."
You're right. It's been a while since I've been able to use it. You're right. That's my
It's
bad.
the one with the feather wings, not the bat wings.
Right. That's No, I get it. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. And then back over to Norm. Sorry, but that was in Sylvan. And that's he goes, "Why did I do that in Herringon?" And now that's all my languages that I know.
Penny squints at Elvish and is like, "This sounds like Elvish, but it's in cursive."
It's got extra squiggles.
Doggo's got to protect house.
What about you, Trollord? Do you speak Goblin?
I do not know.
So communicating with them in their own language seems to be off the table.
Okay. So perhaps we should ignore them.
That
Probably the
seems
best idea.
the best way to keep them and us alive and intact.
Agreed.
So throughout the day, you saw those few goblins that moved throughout the land, whether far-ranging groups, solitary individuals. But other than that, I mean, there's nothing going on until it starts to rain gently at some 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
The lobsters would come out of their hiding spots now. If only we were near water.
There's water up there.
But
No, the different kind of... There's no lobsters in heaven, Cypress.
yeah, if it was raining lobsters, that'd be very concerning.
Oh, I'd go home.
I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely not. Sea bugs from the sky? Nah. This Erangон is going back to the wild. Tried to make a zany 90s cartoon show out of that. The Wild. Anyway.
Do we want to take shelter or build shelter from the rain, or do we want to keep going?
I say we take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Let's find a camping spot. Let's kind of buckle down for a little bit, and we'll reassess once the rain passes. Even if it means that we end up staying here, explore the area right around our camp a little bit. We can have a think about what we want to do next.
Is it like mountains, or is it hills that we're on? Like, are there sheer cliffs?
There are a few cliffs, but they're not sheer. and these are hills. None of them are really above 500 feet.
Okay. Cool. So
Even
we don't
when you
need to
run,
find a cave.
no, and even if you were to find a cliff edge, there's still a way down. It's just you got to take the longer route, or you have to keep hitting space bar as you try and go up it.
To try and jump.
Yeah.
Gotta like go like this,
And then you
like
slide
this,
down a
like
little
this,
bit,
like this,
and then you
this.
hop. And then
Yeah, but
slide.
since you have mounts, you could just like get on your mount, get it to the point where your mount is like just straight vertical on the side of a cliff face, then jump, and you'll as soon as the mount jumps, you'll get halfway across the map.
And just yeet yourself across the map.
Hmm.
And if we carry rocks in our pockets, we can then do an aerial bombardment.
This is what happens when tabletop RPGs are made by Bethesda.
Yeah. It's a feature.
Speaking of which, there's a magical plant from the Fey realm that is both in and out of reality. And so when you put one in a plant in your house, the leaves will actually go through the walls and everything.
And do you call this plant Holy Moly?
No, it's called the Bethesda.
It's called the worst thing to be reporting as QA in any video games, aka my own personal hell. Clipping is the worst.
So roll a survival check for me, Penny. You would have had advantage, so it's a straight roll. Droller's doing his best. Sorry, Davin is doing his best to help.
Fuck it, we ball! 11.
You find at least a decently open patch of ground.
Pueblo. Okay.
It's mostly level.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing particularly fancy about this. With the rocky terrain, there's at least no trees coming up in the middle, so you guys are able to set up. You can move a few rocks out of the way and put in a fire pit. If you have something to burn that's not wet.
I would, in the process of us moving the rocks and clearing, I'll cover or I'll pull some of like kindling and fire starting material into like my tent space and then use shape water to dry out as much as I can. And then I'll store that water in a container. So then that way, once we do have like a slightly covered, sheltered fire pit, we have dry kindling that we can put into the pit for, I think probably for warmth at this point, not so much for like illumination, because it's still pretty daylight outside. It's afternoon-ish.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It started raining around 3.
Okay.
By now it's around 5.
Mhm.
You've still got roughly 4 hours of light left.
Right.
So
Yeah.
more place to cook.
Yeah. I think that's what Cyphers would end up doing, is once seeing that this method does work and kind of going back to like the Harangon version of Boy Scouts, basically, where it is this communal family group or communal family like raising the young situation, that they would do these like teaching games, and part of that was like use the magic that's available to you, use the resources available to you, and this just kind of became like an afternoon chore kind of thing in the rainy seasons. I think that's what he kind of loses himself in mentally and thinking about, of the past, what he's left behind, getting more in touch with that side of his connection to magic, as opposed to just the dissect things and think about stuff real hard. It's that naturalistic connection as well, to create a foundation of that too.
Bun Scouts.
Bun Scouts, done.
Bun Scouts.
Writing it down.
There you go.
Once we're under canopy, I'm just gonna spit out some wood.
Is it dry?
Yeah, like I described earlier, whenever I eat and stuff, I don't leave any residues on it or anything. So I've just been keeping that wooden bowl and stuff in my stomach. So as you're like breaking all this water, I'm like, here's some stuff for burning.
Like mid like waterbend kata come out and just like and just like drop that water on the ground and just,
So as you do get a fire going, luckily Davin is insistent to pull the rocks out, dig down a little bit, and put the fire actually in the ground, so that if anybody does see, you might see smoke, but you won't actually see a fire. And that way, it helps throw off the total distance of where it could be without the actual light source. But apart from that, you guys are able to set up a little camp. It's only been raining hard enough to have your boots wet. Your cloaks keep you dry. It hasn't been anything excessive. And it stops raining about an hour after you've set camp and are into your period to relax, which is good because this area is too rocky to attempt to set up a tent on. So you are sleeping out under the stars tonight. So you're having to use your tents as something to both lay on the rocks to give you some more padding, and trying to like fold it up as much as possible to soften and cushion yourself. But as you guys are able to rest and relax, by the time that any food is brought out, Davin is already asleep.
excellent. I think I have a thing that I can do. Do I? Yeah, I can do that. So this, like geographically speaking, this area that we're in, is it like a cove with like only one, like the main area that we were walking available, or is this like a pull off kind of spot, or are we more or less like right in the middle of what could be like a thoroughfare or game trail, or anything could come at us from multiple different angles? How defensible is the position? That's what I'm trying to ask.
Mildly defensible at best.
Mm-hmm.
The only benefit it really offers strategically
Mm-hmm.
is that it offers a good panoramic view from the northwest to pure south.
Okay.
So, I mean, you've got the northwest, you've got north, northeast, east, southeast, and south. There's just the due west and southwest sections that are concealed by the rest of the hill.
Mm-hmm. Okay. In that case, I'm going to, with Davin asleep, I'm going to ritually cast Alarm in the area, I guess, like, so it's a 20-foot cube, right? Yes, a cube. So I'm going to put Davin, like, on the edge of that. So that way I receive an alarm ping if anyone or anything comes within that, like, 20-foot cube to theoretically sneak up on Davin while he sleeps. I just want, like, kind of an assistant kind of thing to make, like, something to make me feel comfortable knowing that Davin is sleeping I want to
Okay.
give him as much rest as possible. So I will cover that area, and I'll share that with everyone else. Of like, shh, I'm gonna set the little baby gate around Gavin. Now we're good to go.
So, anything y'all want to talk about through camp? Do you guys want to go ahead and call this for the night? We can use this time to fast forward.
I think, yeah, I'm all for fast forwarding. I think Cypress is very much still in his head about the events and processing. Now that we've moved out of Midport, out of the rush of job and job and job and task and task and task, and we have this reflection time, Cypress is going back into, okay, what's actually happening and what does this actually mean overall? So Cypress would be pretty quiet and withdrawn about all of that. So I'm good personally to fast forward.
Okay. When we fast forward, did you want to set this as your main base and kind of do a little terraforming to make it more defensible, or what? Or do you just want to stay on the move, camp at a new site every night?
I think we would camp at a new site every night.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think with the open discussion, now that we are out, moved away from these locations, or like from, where we were basically, right? So close to Midport. I think we would have the open discussion of having a cover story, and the cover story being like, we're out here prospecting. We're out here looking for one of
There's
our
gold out here in these hills.
yeah, like looking for resources, looking for a rumor of a place that was somebody saw when we were a kid. Something plausible of like, yeah, it's dumb, we know, but we're out here, we're looking for something, so we're actively moving, trying to find
We're on a
the old
forestry walk.
mill.
We're hunting
Or-
the mine goblins.
There you go.
So you had 11 days to go to meet up and rendezvous. As you have been continuously for the past 10 days moving camp, moving camp. At day 10, you moved yourself to within a few miles of the destination. Even resting even earlier in the day, as you have gotten a good camp set up, knowing that tomorrow you're supposed to rendezvous. The only problem is that the rendezvous site has gotten deeper and deeper into goblin territory. And so you've had to be more careful um, about setting up defenses at night, keeping watches, and overall having your rear guard actually keeping watch as well, not just eyes ahead of you. You also have to have eyes behind you. But as the 10th day comes to an end, you have a reasonably defensive position as the camp is set up for the night. And tomorrow, we're going to meet up with our rendezvous. Go ahead and mark your long rests. Make sure you don't have any points of exhaustion. Everybody mark off 5 days worth of rations unless you have been providing food otherwise.
I'd be trying to supplement with foraging in terms of local food. Probably not trying to steal from goblins, but I'd be trying to supplement with foraging.
We have good berries too.
Oh, and good berries, yeah.
So, but since you do like to forage, Cypress, go ahead and roll a survival check.
Cypress is gonna get guidance on that too.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Very
welcome.
nice.
Could I make
No.
the argument for nature instead?
I will give you advantage on survival because of your knowledge of nature
Cool.
and using certain baits to attract certain prey.
Got it. Okay. I was thinking more of a, I think more vegetarian diet, which is why I was leaning more towards the nature side of going with the grubs, the
If
roaches.
you want to do a veggie, yeah, nature would suffice,
Okay, cool. I'm gonna do. regular-
and you would still have advantage.
Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, my thought process is more of like if we're using rations and goodberry, I would want to do like the more. I don't want to steal protein from nature because we have protein through the rations. So being able to forage for the greens or the grubs or other things to be able to enhance the ration flavor was my direction. But let's see how I did. A 23.
You come back with wild potatoes, wild onions. You've found wild cucumber. You've managed to find 2 tomatoes.
Oh, nice.
Some of these things have been through each day, and so you've stocked up a little bit here. You found some lettuce, some cabbage. It's red cabbage. So you've had a little bit each day that you've kind of added to your sack that you can now pull out and have what is decently a very large, attractive salad with bits of potato and carrots and onions and
Excellent. I'm very happy with that. Thank you.
I want to at one of the days. I want to have. I'm gonna try to like slowly map out like the region by casting levitate on myself and flying.
Oh,
okay. Do you have a cartographer's kit or a basic drawing kit?
Let me see. I know I have a basic drawing kit somewhere because I was drawing in the first episode. I think that's one of the things that I listed out.
So the significant difference between a cartographer's kit and other artist supplies is that the cartographer's kit comes along with slides and rulers and specific things to be able to calculate for distance.
Right, I wouldn't be able to do that. Yeah, no.
So
I'm floating up in the air. I'm just like drawing at this point.
But you are drawing an overhead map. It's just not going to be perfectly to scale. But we'll find out how well you do. Give me a performance check. You can substitute your charisma for dexterity for this check if you would like. Or if you have proficiency in artist tools.
Let's see. So that would be a +3 instead. I'm just gonna roll this and then I'll add one more. So 20.
20? From each day you've added a little bit more, checking details. Every evening at camp or just before the sun sets, you've only drawn to a certain distance and then you add to it. That way each piece that you draw is in proportion to the next thing that you're drawing. you have a good topographical map. Um, you don't have every elevation line and everything else. You do have each of the hill peaks, the valleys, specific landmarks, and a general trail line that you can use to follow through it. So you have a pretty dang good drawing of the area.
Cypress, do you want to fly?
Cypress, holding like armfuls of potatoes and cabbage, goes, I'll get there on my own, thank you. Still somewhat nauseous and queasy from the teleporting fiascos down by the docks, and ruefully just walks away like this. Not ruefully,
Okay.
but upsettedly. But thank you for the offer, Norm. I appreciate you asking.
So I have a general concern about tomorrow. Given the terrain and local inhabitants, guild to sweet rolls, how likely is it that they are in an ambush or we are in an ambush or both?
Yeah, probably both. We're probably both bait for each other in two separate ambushes from two separate groups of ambushers, and it's probably going to end up being that we can't like get the ambushers to ambush each other, not us. But that's yeah,
Why not?
that I think probably is doomsday scenario for me.
Why can't we get them to?
Oh, just because it probably won't work. We should try, absolutely try. But I'm just saying, like, if we're expecting the worst, then yeah, we're bait for them, they're bait for us. Both groups of ambushers are going to end up like forming one giant collegiate army that's then going to try and like keep us separated, but then fight us and probably eat our hands or something. So
Why would they eat our hands?
just because that's like the worst thing that I could come up with right now.
The hands are
They could
usually
feed us
really
to
good.
fish.
Cypress freezes, remembering the storm giant from way back when. Shakes it off. All right. Anyway, why? What are your thoughts on the matter, huh?
Just the terrain itself being rocky and these even shallow cliffs. Their local fauna. I just see this going in every way possibly wrong. And I think, what if we do it, if we prepare it so that when they try to do something, it hits them first? What if we set booby traps? It would mean we don't sleep tonight. And as much as that would give us a disadvantage tomorrow, I think that a well laid trap would give us more of an advantage than the difficulty it would be trying to fight while tired tomorrow.
All right, I'll start digging the holes and putting the spikes in.
Oh god.
Well, that means we're going to need your map. We need to really go over the terrain, look at the meeting place. How can we signal that our meetup, getting them to switch to a different location that we control?
I mean, I do have Skyride.
That'll do. How much of an area does Skyrite cover?
I'm pretty sure just in general, whatever I can see of the sky.
Well, my concern is that we're still not that far away from Midport. We need to make sure that the area covered wouldn't be noticeable to them.
But I mean, how far can they really get to us?
With magic, and I assume they have it.
And part of the sky that you see.
Well, that's the thing, is distance, angles, how much could they recognize of the Skyrite, depending on what's going on. So I just my only question is how subtle can we make it, and at what angle would make sure it wouldn't be overseen from them.
Oh, well, the way that we can do it is we can make it kind of low, and at the angle that a Newport, it would just look like the sides of the clouds.
Okay, yeah, that will do it. I don't know the spell, so I mean I'm trusting you on that.
Yeah.
Cypress.
As long as there's not a strong wind, because strong winds can disperse my clouds.
So we need something to go off once we can see them to then funnel them to us. Okay. Cypress, with your Bun Scout training, what other sort of traps could we use?
Well, if my question would be, are we defending this location, or are we preparing ourselves to walk into an ambush location?
I'm assuming that the meetup location would be an ambush site.
Right.
So I want to shift them to another location that we control so that we can avoid having our hands eaten, as you put it.
Yes. I would say yeah. I think what is probably going to be most beneficial in this journey is, and you can tell me I'm wrong, but like collectively we as a group can decide I'm wrong. I would rather rely on us reacting to a changing environment as opposed to fully investing in a location, like putting all eggs in one basket. I think if we maintain flexibility, then we maintain the ability to change as they dictate our environment changes. That being said, I do think that moving to a new location is the best course of mitigating their ambush. And then in terms of defense at that location, if we can choose a location that's going to give us the most amount of entry control while also giving us an exit if and when things get bad, that's going to be probably the best route for us. I would say if we could find some kind of not rocky outcropping, but if we could find an area of a hilly terrain that forms a natural funnel point with us at the, I guess, the inside of that funnel, then we can escape through a way if we have to and block that escape to slow down their ability to catch up to us. Even if that means that we abandon temporarily our allies who we're meeting up with, we would then be able to break away, reassess, and come up with a new plan on the fly. I think choosing that location is going to be very, very important if we can find something that allows us, ideally, 2 ways in, 2 ways out, but our ability to not get surrounded or surprised.
Okay, so that means we're really going to be relying on Norm's map.
Yes.
And of course, the terrain would dictate what kind of traps we could use.
Right. Which is why I think it's important to, as of right now, at this campsite, remain as open to options as possible, and also keep stuff in reserve for if and when we have to stand and fight or bug out.
My concern is you said that a goblin camp tribe has some 50 members.
Yes.
And half of that, so 25 being adults. We could assume half of that, so between 12 to 15 being a war tribe.
Yes.
If we're assuming 12 to 15 from one tribe chasing our comrades into 15 more.
Right.
I don't know if we're ready for 30.
No.
So I really think that we have to move the rendezvous point. We have to spot our allies first, give them the direction, and once they have a new heading, anybody that's pursuing them runs into our traps.
Yes.
Okay. Penny, do you have anything?
I've got a dragon and a can-do attitude.
You Smooches breathes pure magical force.
Aye. And sometimes squirrel bits.
Does that mean... Hey, Smooches, can you do a test flight? Can Smooches hear Davin?
Did Davin say please?
Well, he didn't say please. It's more of a question. It's like...
Telepathically, Penny goes, Smooches, do you want to do a test flight for Uncle Davin?
I don't mind.
Okay.
Hey, Smooches. I was wondering, because you can fly, you don't have to worry about rocks falling on you. Could you yell at the rocks loud enough that they fall over? Maybe. If it doesn't work the first time, I could try again. Oh, hey. That's a good Smooches. A rock slide against a goblin war tribe? That's a dang good start.
Could I, or someone, based off of the commonality of goblins in this region specifically, in terms of their war tribes, are they known for any particular like flavor of weaponry or tactics?
You've been watching them every day for the past 10 days.
Right.
You've noticed that they have simple short bows.
Hmm.
They use javelins.
Hmm.
Very few of them have modern manufactured weapons.
Okay.
They do
It's
have a
not like,
few,
yeah,
but they're all secondhand and reclaimed.
right. It's not like they're toting around like a ballista that they've made as like their primary defensive weapon for like their home thing that they would, or their base camp that they would have access to. They are nomadic. They use simple and easily
Semi-nomadic.
replaceable and buildable. They're what?
Semi-nomadic.
Semi-nomadic. Okay. Yeah.
They'll set up. They'll be in a place for about a month,
Hmm.
and then they'll move.
Got it.
But they never move more than a day's travel before they set camp back up.
Interesting. Okay. Cool. Because if that's the case, then we can also be prepared with this knowledge of like it's not,
Mhm.
it's not that it's unlikely that they would have. How can I say this right? If we send smooches in for scouting or for important information to get gathered, whether that's in the heat of a reactive moment or as in the calm before situations then get worse, it's risky, but it is not. It's a known quantity of risk. It's unlikely for them to be utilizing like a catapult type situation, a siege weapon, or other such thing due to them being semi-nomadic in that regard. So that's helpful, I think, information to be able to have.
Troller. With everything that's been talked about, please tell me you've got more ideas.
Honestly, I've been thinking, but I've never been the strategic type, to be honest, so I can't really think of too much.
Okay, well, what about what spells do you think you could maybe add to this? Which direction would you lean? At what range do you think you could engage at? I mean, my position has always lent me towards, after my training with Celis, to be a strategist. So,
Uh, I mean, looking through my abilities are a bit more up close solutions.
okay. Do you have kind of battlefield control spells?
Give me the night to switch grease back in. That could be useful. Same with Cloud of Daggers.
Yeah. If
So
we can find a narrow choke point, yeah.
then, if we can find some good narrow choke points, Cloud of Daggers will help out a lot. Grease, just if we could set up the grease and get some and hide it in ways as almost a trap, that could help. What else do I have here? If I do have to get closer, I do have Rhymes Binding Ice, which can freeze them in place. But if we want to set up a more... how long does that... It would have to be right beforehand if we want to set up a barricade of some sort. I do have a movable object that does last an hour without concentration. So
Can you dismiss that at any time you want?
Let me see. Nah, kind of. I could set up basically a passphrase that if I speak it within range, it will suppress the spell for like a minute, let folks through, and then basically close it back up again.
So, in theory, we could take a series of boulders using rope, vine, whatever, have them hanging over the ledge of a cliff ahead of time, and then you could just yell out a series of if and the but or, and then drop a half a dozen boulders down the side of a cliff face.
Can't be weigh more than 10 pounds, but yeah.
10 pounds, okay. So not
Yeah.
boulders.
No, not boulders. But if we do affix, say, somehow get the boulders in the air on top of a 10-pound whatever, that object can hold up to 4,000 pounds. So
Norm, you can fly up and down. If you could raise a platform into position, Troller then uses that spell, locks it in place. Cypress, you talked about an aerial bombardment before.
It's an
Am I
option.
crazy? Am I crazy, or is this viable?
I think the downside tactically is we have to make sure that if we're going to devote this amount of resources to this course of action, we should do this in a spot where we're able to use it. But yeah, it does seem, with probable minimal collateral and at the very, very least, in terms of battlefield control, it gives us another option to prevent them from following us or halt their advance or at least slow their numbers or I think it's definitely a direction that we can go in.
Okay, well, that's Cypress.
Please don't
Norm, any
Sure.
insight? Do you think this would work?
Yeah, I think it'll work fine. I was just thinking too, if we need some more alarms, I can cast leading up to it. I can cast Magic Mouth on some pages of stuff, and I can yell in using thaumaturgy, and it'll record it in that same loud spoken volume, and I can just hide those pages around places. And they'll activate if somebody's 30 feet around. Or 20 feet around.
Could you cast thaumaturgy on smooches?
No, just myself.
Damn. I was just thinking the scariest thing I could imagine would be a very large dragon roaring that I haven't seen yet. To know which way to run.
I can enlarge smooches.
If you let him eat about probably 15 more squirrels, something might happen. I'm not sure.
So, well, Penny, what do you think of the plan so far, though? Which way are you leaning?
I'm leaning towards I have never had a good plan in my entire life. So I'm following the group and I'm going to jump when y'all say jump. And I have a dragon and I'm here for the wave. Finn's not a tactician.
Riku is not either. I just am like, here's what I have. Put the puzzle pieces together for me, please. Do we want a grease set up underneath it, or do we want to just leave it at the bombardment?
How far away could you cast grease?
I can cast grease from 60 feet away in a 10-foot square. Yeah.
Tactically, when you cast grease, I'd want you to be concealed. Because at 60 feet, you're still in bow range.
Mm-hmm. Only thing is, I need to be, with whatever we're dropping, I need to be within 5 feet to trigger the passphrase.
So within 60 feet of the floor and within 5 feet of whatever you're dropping, giving it a maximum height of 65 feet.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as they don't look up.
As long as they don't look up.
Well, given the side of a cliff face and a few bushes tacked around it, thrown on top or whatever, we might be able to camouflage it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it's the platform that's holding up the entire foliage itself to do it. They just have this weird shape, bush on the side of a cliff.
Yeah.
Triggering grease, we want that to happen after our allies have passed through a choke point. So, once again, that leads us back to Norm's map. We have a series of ideas. All of them are going to rely on us finding the appropriate battlefield of our choosing. Drolor, Norm, hey, you know the plan. You know the variables of this plan. I think you two might be the smartest among us. Why don't y'all two look over the map and pick our battlefield?
All right.
You having the map, you will have advantage on this roll. Please roll investigation.
Investigation. Let's see.
Very good at
18.
investigation. If it'll ever load. Okay. Investigation. Advantage? No.
Yes.
Oh, okay. What did I roll? 21.
Okay. As you guys go over this, you find a location that you think is the most suitable to grant you the as many possible permeations of the plan that you guys currently have, that leads through a valley. They're going to have to bypass their original location a good distance, but using Skywrite in two different locations, you can get them off the current path they're on and lead them through a particular valley that you guys have selected so that you guys can set up the best possible defense.
The Kidorm is looking at it and he says, out of the 248 different possibilities of ways that we could go, the 3 favorable outcomes have us positioned here.
So that looks about right to me.
Perfect.
I think that would be a perfect place to set it up.
Okay. Uploading.
Enhance image. Enhance image.
Kind of like that, yeah. Enhance. Enhance. No, I'm just waiting for things to load.
Mm-hmm.
So, as you guys go ahead and before the sun sets this evening, start making your way over to evaluate with your actual eyes, not just what's on the paper, and look at your chosen battlefield. You guys can go ahead. I can create tokens, and we could put markers on the map for everything for your battle. You, based off the numbers you guys had, you are expecting anywhere from 24 to 30-ish potential goblins. And in a worst case scenario, in a best case scenario, it's only approximately a dozen. But so hey, let's we can figure all that out. Yeah, go ahead and put yourselves on the map, and we'll find out what you want to set up. Remember that once the fight starts, you are going to be relegated to what is your effective casting range, attacking range.
Mm-hmm.
So, what time of day is it now?
It's late in the evening at the moment. It's
Okay.
almost nighttime when you're looking at this place.
Got it. Okay. Right. So my first question is, where is our exit going to be? The retreat point.
The valley has them coming in through the bottom of the map.
Got it.
So your supposed exit would be to the right of the map,
Okay.
and the top of the map there kind of funnels into a very narrow point.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it doesn't have an exit.
Got it. Okay.
It goes in several feet just off the edge of the map, but then just is a dead zone.
Right. Okay. Cool. So if that's the case, then so most of my assistance here is going to be reactive based off of what goes on, and I can kind of do
You
some
still set up
combo
actual
stuff.
booby traps.
Yeah. I think I want to focus on physical trap making first. And I think I'm going to save all of my magic options for the heat of the moment. So I'm going to say, let's see, what would Cypress do most? Okay. Is there, or are there any tree trunks or large branches or something long and cylindrically that's not necessarily easy to move, but is there anything that's like already like an already felled tree for natural reasons anywhere around here?
Not inside this valley,
Mm-hmm.
but nearby, yes.
Okay. All right. I'm thinking one thing that I have is I can make things bigger or smaller, right? So if we can slow down their ability to follow us through the exit, if we had a tree or a rock or similar that was like, say, 15 feet tall, and we laid it down, and then I'm able to manipulate reality and have that expand, that would, at the very least, slow people down. If we wanted to take the time to get that set up, I'm kind of looking more from a fallback insurance to make sure that we're able to get a clean getaway, right? Other than
I've
that,
also got. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, other than that, I would be happy to devote time of putting things in a relatively like naturalish kind of way, like
Mhm.
on the ground, so that way we have more trip hazards, more obstacles, more something that we would familiarize ourselves with. Yes, we know it's a serpentine path, but then that's going to reduce their numbers to go through. Whether that's just sticks, rocks, things that are easily movable by one person over time, that in the heat of a moment is going to prevent people or prevent anyone from being able to push their way through without taking the time to reduce their effectiveness that way. I think that would be another use of my time that I would be happy to do. But what were you going to say?
I was going to say that I've also got spike growth and I've got wind wall.
We have a lot of traps.
Yeah.
By Oasis?
Yeah. Anyway, here's wind wall.
Get out. but don't. It's dark outside.
I'm gonna go outside.
I think what I would like to do is collect rocks. I want to do some kind of like. I want to make like stone piles, like marker piles, and
Okay.
make almost like a rudimentary like dragon's teeth kind of situation. That will then ideally create some kind of choke point for the exit side. If that would make sense.
Just describe how, so I can visualize it better.
Sure. I think so. Cypress would try to quickly make not necessarily like a cobblestone wall per se, but like piles of torso-ish size stones. So that way it's kind of like making smaller pyramids that would on the map extend from like where our presumed exit point is over here, would do like a can I do, does this, will this let me erase if I do this? Probably. I want to try and make an obstacle situation in like this general zone. So that way we create a choke point right here. We know that we're going to end up swooping out further, but I want to reduce the width of this exit point. So that way when we have a horde coming after us, we are then tightening them down, reducing the flow as they come through that spot to then give us another chance to like create a more effective wind wall or have the stonefall trap or something similar there as a fallback point that allows us to shape the battlefield to fit our own flow of traffic better than theirs, since we're a smaller group.
Okay. Okay.
But I would do that by doing like moving the stones, building up a wall that would be probably at least 3-ish, 4-ish feet high in that general area.
Yeah. So give me either survival or nature for
Cool.
you to just hunt down these stones of the right size.
Happy to. 14.
14. Some of the stones are heavy. Luckily, Davin has at least brokered the idea. You guys have a plan. It has variable options, but Davin is quite strong and is able to help you with yours.
Cool. Then yeah, I would have.
All of Davin's spells and abilities are geared towards just hitting things.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good that he's able to help.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at all of my spells and it's like, single target, single target, single target. Utility, I found some. So I want to battlefield control and then get flexible later. But yeah, I'd work with Davin to build up an amount of wall there so we can create a choke point.
Okay, there. So trying to create tokens. Luckily, I have the goblin tokens prepared already.
Does there need to be 2 of me? Did I accidentally 2 of me? Can I delete a
Take-
token?
One of them is Smallman.
Of me?
It's Smallman. Smallman looks like Cypress now.
Oh, I forgot about that. Cool, great, fun. All right.
No, that's a lie.
It's your doppelganger.
Oh, cool, nice.
Remember earlier?
Yeah,
You
sure.
said you would be your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
True. Looking in a mirror. Oh, this is the self-love portion of Cypress's mark. I see.
Gross. Not on the
Gross.
battlefield.
Exactly on the
Love-
battlefield.
Love is a battlefield.
Yeah. Technically, love is a tiefling, fey wanderer, ranger, but yeah.
I shoot
Dan made that
Cypress.
Good.
Dan made that joke earlier, and I was like, if we kill Cypress,
A portal opens up. Out comes love. Shakes her head at this world and goes, no, this is too real for me. Dips back to being a joke character where it's safe.
we can't all be joke characters in this campaign.
Or the next time Delta gets shunted out of the lamp.
That'd be
And
pretty
Love
sick too.
comes in.
Guest appearance of love.
All right, Cypress, you have your pile of rocks.
I'm happy. Thank you.
So that will cut down on the enemy's ability to move through the area. Any other preparatory, other than picking out where we're going to set up the rocks fall, all of them die?
Do we schedule one avalanche and then they all die and then we all get to go home and meet our new friends? Is that what the plan is?
Well, I mean, you guys could try and fight 30 goblins straight up.
I'm okay.
I
I've
would
done
prefer
it
not
before.
to.
So where do you want to put the rest of your booby traps?
I'm reading my spells.
That's fair. This is an important time to know what they do.
I just wish I knew how to read.
Well, according to Mr. Popo, all these squares make a circle. All these squares make a circle.
guess I could do plant growth now to create difficult terrain.
Would that make it difficult for our allies to cross through, or would you be able to kind of
Yes.
control
Yes,
it
it
in a?
would.
But if you use it as like a area reduction or like an access
Mhm.
reduction kind of thing.
Well, I can. Where's that clause in the thing? You can exclude one or more areas of any size within the spell's area from being affected. So I could make a narrow path, but that's still going to be a narrow chance for the goblins to go down that narrow path.
Yeah, but it's not about killing goblins. It's about denying them
Slow 'em
full
down.
swarm tactics as much as
Yeah.
possible. I think, personally.
And Erica, you said that our bring-in point is down here, correct?
Yes, that's our entrance, and to the right is our exit.
Okay. So, squad, what if I do tunnel point to make this area more, the southern area, more of a choke point for easier control? Connor, you're the tactician. What do
good
you
to
think
me.
about that?
I wouldn't say I'm the tactician. That's a
Well, too
bold
bad.
claim before combat. Yeah, I think as Cypress is, building up this stone wall with Davin, I think it depends on how panicked and how quickly our homies come in, right? If
Mhm.
we are confident enough, we can always do immediate actions. We can do reactive actions, not reactions, but reactive actions during a combat encounter to be able to block off or deny areas of the battlefield or change the odds in preferably into our favor to then be able to slow down the goblin horde. If we do have to fight them, we fight them on better terms and we don't have as much of a horde swarm,
Mhm.
right? And it's we can do instantaneous magic as that kind of reactive action versus something that would take more planning, more prep, and more like working things right meow.
Ah, they're here.
Goblins
Yeah,
eventually.
we're avoiding that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So by doing more work and prep now allows us to block off this section so that way we're not dealing with two huge swarms of goblins coming through a 40-foot wide
Mhm.
or a 20-foot wide thing. We can then pin them down so that way we reduce their numbers and then ideally open us up to more tactical options of like, okay, well, area of effect or more, area denying abilities and such.
Yeah. Okay.
Cyphers would actively say this while setting up these stone walls. And really it's like set up like 4 stones, lean on them, talk while then Davin moves like all the heavy ones, be like, yeah,
Mhm.
I'm orchestrating this. It's great. But the idea
And then
behind this,
Cypress is also like, no, Davin, that one needs to go two to the
yeah,
left.
just
kind of
turn it
thing.
a little bit so it's
Mhm.
more aesthetically pleasing. The
No, you're
other
not
idea
understanding
behind
my vision.
this is that if we do have those reactive actions like spells or other features and actions that we can take, we want to give ourselves any kind of prep work that would then allow us to either pull off combo moves or do things that allow
Mhm.
us to I don't know, allow our actions to be cooler or bigger. So I have a spell that allows me to change the size and shape of things. So I'm going to try and put stuff into a position where then maybe if we, have to, we can then temporarily block, slow them down for a turn while it takes them time to scramble over or tear it apart or whatever, gives us more time to get away. So if you have something that allows to make more of a choke point or set up more of a trap that would cause damage or cause, really we're looking at damage or slowing them down or dividing them or confusing them. And so maybe making this more into a maze. The downside being that our allies would be more at a disadvantage there, but we could also mitigate that by giving them the message about how to solve the maze or something. That's
Yeah.
kind of on a you of whatever abilities you have.
Well, even a half wall, goblins are shorter in stature.
Right.
They're of similar height to Cypress,
Mhm.
perhaps even a little shorter. Even a half wall, a humanoid creature could likely get over. Goblins would take more effort to do so.
That's why I was looking for like 3 to 4 feet max, because the downside is it's going to theoretically give them cover, break our line of sight. But on the benefit is that it does slow them down to a point where they have to make a tactical decision, scramble over, boost each other over, break their pack tactics, or go all the way around, take more time, take more movement, create a choke point. It's the nerdy stuff that I, as a player, really like, and as a
So,
character,
did you
also
want to
appreciate.
extend this?
Measurement wise, that leaves 10 feet of movable space.
15, yeah.
15. I would like to make it so we could have 10 feet of walk-through room. I would like 2 small to medium-sized creatures to be able to fit through shoulder to shoulder through that zone. So I guess extending it 1 extra square would be cool.
Okay.
That would be my goal.
Continues to get the rocks.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So if we're able to do that, we've made a choke point. We've made a switchback. That takes time. That takes more movement, more whatever, what have yous. So if you've got spells and stuff that allow you to manipulate objects or require certain like events to happen, like if you have something that requires a butt ton of water, now would be the time to like saturate the ground to make something watery, so that way you're able to do a whatever. Oh, that would be a good idea, actually. Anyway,
It's
I
all that
did my
water
prep
that you've
action.
been saving.
Oh, it's another option. It's not as helpful as making stone wall, personally.
Troll, or where do you want to set your avalanche?
If they're coming in from the south,
Trap them in.
yeah, I was thinking like within that southern corridor area, being able to, as they either on top or lock them in so that they can't get back, they can't retreat. Almost. Or at least to unknowingly crush them as they're coming in.
And I'll be above them too, so I can just shoot.
The other option is also, as we exit, to drop it behind us. So if we have that choke point to get around, yeah, that can also work.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think? Would you rather catch them coming in or catch them going out?
I mean, if we could drop, well, can you do both? Can you drop it when they're coming in, and then drop it when you guys are leaving. And I can just shoot the stragglers.
That would be. I mean, we would have to set up 2 traps. The spell is not concentration, so I don't have to. I just
It does only last an hour,
It only. Yeah, that's the thing. It only lasts an hour.
which means you are now trying to specifically time 2 traps and your allies' movement.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep an eye on.
What's the spell?
Immovable object. I put it in the chat if you scroll up a little bit more. Essentially, the idea was we put something up, affix it in place with it, and we could put as much as 4,000 pounds weight on it. I can then also give it a password that will, when said, will suppress the spell, which would, in theory, cause everything to fall. At least, and it would be suppressed for a minute. Because then whatever we're putting to hold up all these rocks would then go back to being immovable after a minute.
And with 2 tons of rock waiting to fall out of the sky, the passphrase is gravity, bitches.
Yes. Oh man, I wish we were a higher level because at level 6 I can make it permanent.
Means 6th spell level or character level 6?
Spell level 6. No. 4th level, we can put 8,000 pounds on it.
As it's falling, can I ready an action to enlarge the rock?
That's what I was thinking of doing.
That's a good one.
What range do you have to be to enlarge?
It's like 30 feet.
30 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
That was my combo move. Why I kept saying, "Hey, I have this spell that allows me to change things."
I like that. We just put enough weight on it to basically to max, drop it, enlarge it, basically double the size of these things. Oh.
It multiplies its weight by 8.
Yes. Oh,
That
God.
was the part that got me. Was
Oh God.
because then it becomes like its own immovable object. Because like it would be really good insurance to then have this set up here at the end, right? Because we're not outwardly trying to kill goblins. We're just trying to mitigate an ambush. And
my last thing that I could also, just as an almost insurance policy to where we can get all this off in time, I could give somebody Gift of Alacrity, giving them 1d8 on initiative. So if that would help us in terms of triggering all this before they even get to move another few feet, that would help. But who would I put that on?
my vote would be for Norm, because I think Norm has shown the most amount of tactical flexibility with all of our previous engagements.
That is true.
I also have a gun.
I also have a gun.
Oh my God.
Put it on the
So
merch,
good.
kids. Put it on the merch.
All right, Droller, you have a boulder on the battlefield. You may go ahead and move it wherever you'd like.
I'll have Boulder.
Boulder.
The boulder.
The boulder.
So are we catching them coming, or are we catching them going out? What are folks' thoughts?
Coming in
Yep.
sounds a lot more cinematically impressive.
All right. Then I
There's
will.
also the chance we break the horde, and they go, nah, never mind.
Just remember the range in which you can enlarge it from.
Yeah, where are you gonna station yourself?
I'm all the way up here.
You're up there.
Wait. So it's gonna have to be on the way out then. Or can I get up on these trees? Are these trees or like they're like ground level?
Are they trees or are they shrubbery?
Are they shrubbery?
Also, what are we using to hold this up?
Thoughts and prayers.
The physical manifestation of our thoughts. and prayers.
Do you have rope?
Yes.
Do we have anything that we could lash together to make some sort of basket? Hell, even a basket weave on a few ropes itself and then make the rope immovable. You're going to lose a rope, but
I mean,
We can get more rope.
There's always more rope.
so it's more rope. I still got 50 feet on me.
Yeah, I got all my rope still too.
We could definitely weave something. And just hang some bushes on it, make it look like it's foliage. I just need to make sure we just need to make sure it's in range to be enlarged.
that's where placement comes into play.
Yeah.
But I also have enlarge, so I don't mind being a little bit of the bait
Very
in the middle of
enlarged.
the walkway
Okay.
to get it, and then
That's
Tom
fair.
Cruise run away.
If you don't mind being in there, then I think that would work then.
Or I can be on top of it.
We've already got the 4,000-pound boulder. You can't be on top of it. Yeah, unless you're levitating already.
So
I could levitate myself.
Dan could levitate.
is the idea having it hovered over like around here, down here, or do we need somewhere else to put it?
If I move right here instead, no.
See, here's the thing too. If we're like tying it to something as well, I do need to be within 5 feet of it to trigger it, the suppressing of it.
Well, not necessarily. You could always because what you just kind of.
I mean, I could
Dispel
also suppress it, Misty step out of the way.
Could, yeah.
I have Misty step, so I can be like standing on right under.
I also prepped Dispel Magic.
Ooh.
Ooh, you could just actually. You could just dispel it.
Now
Okay,
we're cooking with
120.
gas.
Foot range.
You
How
can't.
how?
But you
Oh.
can't dispel it and enlarge it in the same turn.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
no, but
You don't have meta magic.
I do not. Not yet. There's a feat for that.
Yet.
I've already looked at it. I was toying with the idea of getting all of the adepts of the feats and get like the whole set. But
Look,
that is not a wise build for me and my character.
No.
But it is funny, and I want to do it. But I'm not going to.
so Connor couldn't dispel it, and then I enlarge it.
You could.
If we had it close
Do
enough,
that.
we totally could.
It's all about being in range.
I am in range right now.
Okay.
I'm
Alright.
30 feet away from it, but I'm also on the wrong opposite side.
Considering the time it already is, we're just going to finish your battle plan, and then we're going to end session, and we'll start next session in the fight.
Love it.
So we all got to write down our notes.
And I can't wait for Damon to find out our our plan.
Nobody tell him.
Can we
Throw
do
them in.
like? Can we do like code names like Eagle One and like Attack Plan Alpha and stuff like that?
Mhm.
That'd be fun. That'd be terrible.
I like it.
It'd be bad.
Let's do it.
Well, all of Damon's spells are essentially like single target cat spells.
Yeah.
Yep.
My codename Slippery Puppet.
Yeah.
No, no, no,
That is.
no.
If you say it 2 more times, Kojima will hear you, and he'll make that.
It's actually a Dimension 20 reference.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool. Never mind.
Mhm.
Buh.
Yeah, so Duskblades have the ability to cast their spells through their swords and deal additional damage.
Nice.
They do not have support spells.
Yeah, why would you?
Why would they?
Got a team for that.
So if this was a straight up duel, Davin is on par with creatures several levels higher than himself,
Nice.
but against a horde of creatures,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah, that's the
So-
giant slayer fallacy right there.
Yep.
Mm.
Mhm.
By the way, the effective encounter of this battle is a CR 14.
Buh. Okay.
We'll
cool.
be fine. We got this. What level are we again?
5.
5.
We're good.
5
that's
times
the whole
5 is
thing.
25. Hey, we win.
We're good. That's math. That's girl math. Girl.
But the whole thing is that you're choosing the battlefield, not them.
Yeah.
You have the time to prep and plan. You can set traps. And no matter the fact that there's 30 CR1 halves, you guys are the ones in control. You guys bring the traps. Then you guys can pick off or leave the stragglers behind. It doesn't matter. Your conditions for victory are not reducing all enemies to 0. So, once you have the rest of your things in place and you guys tell me that you are ready, I know, Penny, if you have spike growth, you're going to wait until the enemy fills the area and then you're going to have that. If we have other abilities that are more suited for the immediate battlefield, I get that. But let's just make sure our last minute preparations are done before we call it for the night.
Yeah, I gotta wait until we're closer for a movable object, though, because it's an hour. So
I'm gonna do plant growth, and I'm gonna make a fun little box of plants.
It would be so much easier if I was just had one 4th level spell slot, because that would make it 24 hours lasting at least.
Well, we're not there yet.
Nope. No, we're not.
It's part of the challenge.
Yep.
Using what we have to beat this thing.
Yes.
Oh, so you're putting plant growth right there to break up anybody trying to come in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There we go. There we go. All right. I am satisfied now.
I'm also satisfied.
Immediately, plant growth is going to mean that all of their numbers have to come in single file. That is huge.
Mm-hmm.
My
You
brain
make
cells
it-
clicked together for that one.
That they go single file in a line from me.
Did anybody take a lightning bolt?
Well, I don't have lightning bolt yet, but I do have caustic brew.
I could definitely also drop a cloud of daggers right in that single file line too.
You know what? I could
Check
also
your
drop in that
ranges. Make sure you're prepared. Yep.
Yeah.
moonbeam, bitch.
Mode B,
Yeah.
get out the way. Get out
That's
the
a
way, bitch.
60 feet. So depending on where I'm hanging out, if we're just gonna dispel magic the movable objects, then let's see.
I can only do 3 big things, and I would like
Yeah.
to reserve one of those big things for a healing big thing if needed. So I could do 2 big things, and I'm happy to devote one of them to dispelling that to give you the ability for better placement of yourself.
Yeah, because I can cast, because my idea was to once they start coming in and we drop the boulder, planting this what's it called, cloud of daggers right here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm within that 60-foot range from where I'm at, so if I'm up here right next to you.
Mm-hmm.
If y'all had rolled lower on the investigation check, you would have gotten the worst map.
I don't
I'm
like
also going
that.
to cast Goodberry and pass them out to everybody so that we can have a contingency 1 health point in case anybody gets in trouble.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Also, does how far do I need to be?
What you thinking?
I'm also within range to throw grease down once they start walking in.
Yeah. I also forgot I also have grease, so we can double tap that. And I have produce
Yeah.
flame.
I was about to say, you know what's a cantrip? Produce flame.
Uh-huh.
You know what's a
I
warp
also
crime?
I also have what's it called? Just standard firebolt.
Oh, see, there we go.
Mhm.
But
Devin has fireball.
Uh-huh.
give me hold on a second. I
The
need to break out the
cantrips out of the store.
calculator to make sure I have the spell points to do all this.
Yeah.
Let me just make sure. So I'm gonna do a movable object.
But Riku, part of girl math is not looking at your bank account before you go shopping.
Yeah.
Do not remind me. I have made that mistake.
I have
Not a
gone in
mistake,
debt
it's girl
on
math.
Temu.
Oof. Oof.
Oh yeah, I
Even-
had the spell points to throw it up while still having stuff in the chamber for. Well, it gives me a couple counter spells, a couple shields, and a Misty Step in the back in the pocket.
Cool.
So I think that is the plan. You dispel. How about this, Connor? I'm sorry, Cypress. You dispel it. Right when you dispel it, I'll cast Grease under them, and Norm, you can cast Enlarge. See if we can catch them to also go prone and slip. And then right behind the rock, I'll then cast Cloud of Daggers for anyone who didn't get caught.
Yeah. The most important thing, though, let's make sure our allies are through the gauntlet.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then do all this nonsense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And yeah. Hang on. Let me read a thing. I'm pretty sure I want to do this right now. Are we within 5 hours of this action going down?
We are not within 5 hours yet.
Cool.
You guys came to the site early. It is now past dark, but you guys have a few torches set up and some spells so that you guys can see. You're finishing your preparations. You know that tomorrow you're going to need to be in range for Norm to skywrite and signal them to which way to go.
Got it.
At which point in time, once you get there, you'll have any last minute preparations to go off. But that is tomorrow around lunchtime. They're supposed to be
Right.
at a rendezvous point.
Okay. I think at that point, then, once we arrive back at this location for those last minute preparations, I'll do the metaphysical tether with with Penny, Drolor, and Norm connected to me, and we'll leave Davin out of it because I can only do 3 at a time right now, but I'll get better at it eventually. But that'll wait because it lasts for 5 hours because I'm a 5th level apothecary, so I will wait until that point to do the metaphysical tether. We'll do a big go team situation because I have to touch you.
Also, Norm can only levitate up and down. Doesn't have locomotion. He may need assistance moving quickly across variable terrain, and the only way I know of that would be is if Smooches was pulling him.
I can just tie a rope to where I'm trying to go back to.
Pull yourself across.
Do you have the ability to do that for a mile? Do you have a mile of rope?
A mile of rope. I'm on. Oh, because you're wanting me to be on top of the rock. That's right.
No,
Featherfall.
because the rendezvous point to this point is an hour away. You need to be there to signal them that, hey, you come this way, to move them into this location that you have set up.
Talking about with Skywrite?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just need to be able to see the portion of sky.
You can certainly see a mile away, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It is.
Just doesn't have to be, like I said, it can be set up where I know what it says and things like that, but it's not angled particularly to me. It's more set, like I'm imagining that's where they are over there. So it's more viewable from them and less from whatchamacallit.
How far away can smooches be from Penny?
There's no distance restriction on it.
Okay.
However, your telepathy only extends to 100 feet.
Okay.
However,
theory-
if y'all are linked through Cypress's tether,
Mm-hmm.
Cypress or Norm would be able to relay any information.
Uh,
Or what is the range on your telepathy, Cypress?
100 feet.
Hmm.
But it's a chain. So as long as person A and person D don't need to be within 100 feet of each other, but person A to B need to be 100 feet, B to C 100 feet, and so on and so forth. But
Okay.
I think that even stretches the setup for this particular.
Yeah, at a mile away, there's an issue there.
Yeah. But in terms of
I mean-
battlefield thing, we don't all have to be around a central communication point. As long as one individual is within 100 feet of another, and that tracks back, then that link goes all the way through. From how this is written, which is third party, but they did a really, really good job. So I think that's how it makes sense to me, because it's similar to, I think it's based off of another spell from their video explainer going into the alienist subclass itself, where it's based off of something that I can't remember, but it's there, I think.
It's a really good video.
It is, yeah. I love their stuff. It was fantastic. So I'm glad that they. Anyway, we won't talk about it. We don't got time. But anyway, it's good.
Norm, there's one last thing that you do every day that you need to be aware of for Skywrite to be as effective as you want it to be for tomorrow.
Talking about check the weather.
That's the one.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, I do that.
So, tomorrow's weather is stormy.
Yeah.
It's not ideal.
Not ideal.
Especially for a metallic person to be levitating above other things.
I mean, we do have a more analog option, which is, I guess, like, one of us could attempt to zip in through the ambush.
There's a very mobile and flighted dragon that can fly a letter to our homies.
Do we know the people that we're gonna go meet?
You don't know them, but you know they're not goblins. They're not goblins and they're not Imperials.
Okay.
So anybody showing up to this location at this specific time should, in fact, be at least your people you're looking for. Yeah. To figure out whether or not there's an encounter, I roll 3d6. The higher it is, the better it is. The lower it is, the worse it is. I rolled 5 for the weather tomorrow.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
If I had rolled 3, it would have been a tornado.
No.
I'd prefer not.
So, but we have as much of the plan as we can sorted. We have our notes ready to jump into this thing in 2 weeks. We have Davin, who will be hopefully present, however, not know anything that's going on.
It'll be fine.
Oh, all part of the plan.
All part of the plan. All according to Keikaku.
Let's use a ruler. Because anything from there. Yeah, anywhere. Yep. So we'll go ahead and just put Davin up there for now. All right. Well then, with your preparations done, we're going to go ahead and end tonight. And see what happens in 2 weeks. So, Dan, tell us who you are and other projects you're working on.
Hey, I'm Dan Sebastian. I play Norm Allman, Plasmoid Artificer, and I'm also in Between the Pros, hosted by Finn, starring me and Connor. I play Mordau upon several little subtitles that he has, and I also DM my own thing Between the Pros is every other Sunday, and my Liminal Blink is every other Thursdays. And so, yeah.
All right, Connor.
Okay, hi, I'm Connor. I've been playing Cypress, the alienist apothecary. I am here on Vibe Tribe. You can find me in this game. You can find me in Between the Pros. You can find me in El Juego, which I don't know why that name is always so difficult for me to get out of my face because it's a game, but that's fine. But I'm in El Juego. El Juego is one Sunday a month. Between the Pros, you already heard about, and then this game is this game, and then over on our affiliate Halfling Wizard Twitch channel, you can find me in Liminal Blink over there, and you can find me in the Codex Chaoticum of Roguelite with that guy. Or that's right, my camera's backwards. I remember. Thank you, Dan. That way, run by that guy over there, and then I think that's it for me for now until that changes in the future. So yeah, that's me. Next.
Riku.
Yeah, hello. I'm Riku. You can find me on social media as Pup Riku or Puppy Riku. You can find me here in this game for Gaea Chronicles. You can find me over on Halfling Wizard for Wind Riders of Aria, which is on the opposite Mondays to this, where I play Kedek, the Ponturi captain of the Wind Rider, which is very interesting. They put me on the spot to come up with a Star Trek captain catchphrase for taking off, and I had a lot of difficulty figuring that out. So, you can also find me, as you heard, running Roguelite, Escape the Roguelite, as part of the Codex Chaoticum on Halfling Wizard, which Connor is a part of. As we've mentioned here before, that is almost coming to a close. They are very close to completing the lamp. They're about 3/4 of the way through, and they're very close to the end. So make sure to tune in to see what happens and if they can actually beat it. But starting right after that, I'll be starting up Reign of Vecna, which unfortunately he's not here, but Damon is going to be a part of. It actually takes place in the Doomed Forgotten Realms campaign setting, which is an alternate reality of the Forgotten Realms if everything went bad, essentially. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then there's also one more project that I can't talk about just yet, and will come up soon. So, yay!
Ben.
Hi, I'm Finn. I've been playing Penny. You can catch me every other Sunday being a DM for Between the Pros, which is a product of my own creation. Erica's in it, and Connor's in it, and then Dan's also in it. It's pretty cool. We go through a bunch of fairy tales and solve puzzles and get milked and stuff. You can also find me in Dan's game. It's a joke I'm never letting go now. You can find me in Dan's game on Halfling Wizard Productions for Liminal Blink. I play Mr. Gentleman, a halfling cartoon, who's just as bad as he sounds.
And I'm Dungeon Mistress Erica. I have been running the shit show this evening. I've also been playing Damon today because, been playing Davin because Damon has been out celebrating his anniversary. Congratulations. You can find me across all social media at Dungeon Mistress Erica. And I also run a 5e Witcher campaign every other Saturday over on Hail_Mutants Twitch channel. And of course, I get to play Quill in Between the Pros every other Sunday alongside our wonderful Finn. And of course, Connor and of course, Dan. Yeah. Detect traps with a guy once, and now forever you are lockpicks. It hurt, by the way. I mean, physically, that hurt. I deserved it, though. I deserved it. Yeah. So, thank you very much for joining us for Gaea Chronicles. I know the second half seemed to run a bit long. Not everybody is a military tactician, but it's seeing what we have, what tools we have at our disposal, and hopefully survive a CR14 encounter at level 5. All right. So, thank you all very much. And roll high.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another Vibe Tribe production. What's going to happen next time? Well, you're going to have to tune in to find out. But until then, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, and as always, make sure that you keep the good times rolling. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next time.